And good Saturday evening to all of you out there in Facebook and YouTube land. And we want to welcome you to the Saturday night edition live of Charlie Platt and the Dirt Road Sports, coming to you live. Charlie, take it away.
I might as well take it away. And Floyd might as well join me, because I figured it out that he and I are not as interested in college football as the two other participants in this Saturday night sport we do every Saturday night. So, Floyd, I guess we'll be ready to fill gaps, because Queasel can't get his TV working in the same room where he's doing the show. So he's going to be asked to be excused at least 5 times this hour. And the other one over there, thank goodness Judson is in control of things, or else we wouldn't be on the air at all. What do you think?
Well, you know, I've come to the conclusion, Charlie, I've come to the conclusion that never in my lifetime, other than, just wait a minute, Queasel, you just hush. Now, you pulling a Joe Biden. You pulling a Joe Biden. Now, just hush and let me talk. Yeah.
Georgia just scored Joe a touchdown. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that.
Yeah. When you talk, when I get through it, I'm going to let you talk. How about that?
Now you can talk, but we had to talk about that touchdown.
I've come to the conclusion years ago, other than one time, a college football game has influenced my life in any way whatsoever, positive, negative. It's meant nothing in the grand scheme of things, zero, other than one time in my life. They had a bookie who would take bets on football games out there at the hilltop.
Ooh.
I bet on the Georgia Bulldogs. This would have been back in the 60s. And I bet $100 on the Georgia Bulldogs for them.
In the 60s?
In the 60s.
Well, that's big money.
I know.
That's like 1,000 today.
Hey, I used to have some wherewithal. But I bet $100 on the Georgia Bulldogs. And guess what? They lost.
They lost.
But here's the better part of it. I went to pay my man there at the hilltop, George Carr. Went to pay him, pulled out my $100 bill. He said, said it's 110 if you lose. So not only did I lose the 100, I lost the 10. So that's the only time in my life that a football game has ever influenced me positively, negatively. It was negative, and that was the last bet I ever made on a football game, and I'm money.
Wound you up.
Wound me up. Go ahead, Joe. I mean, Queasel.
I mean, it was at least it was a high class establishment there, Bernie. When you done that,
well, it was a private club.
If I'm Joe Biden, you Bernie Sanders.
Bernie's got a better deal than Joe Biden. Bernie, everything free with Joe Biden. With Bernie, everything free. I'm with Bernie.
Look, Joe Biden's so old. Look here, he's so old. When he was a little boy, the Dead Sea didn't have nothing but a fever.
I did
running for president.
Yeah.
I did realize 2 things on that debate the other day. Only 2 things I came away with from that. Yep. One was there was one candidate who has an ego as big as the world, and the other candidate don't even know he's in the world.
That's exactly right.
That's
pretty good, Marvin.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. You get 10 points on that.
Yeah.
That is very, very true. I hadn't thought about that, but Queasel, you've already interrupted. Like, I rest my case, Judge, on what I opened up and said. Had to do this, touchdown, Georgia. Now, y'all are up in the promised land. Is that what you call it? The Holy Land.
The Holy Land.
Okay.
That's right.
So you're expecting to win it?
I expect him to win every game they play.
But
now, I don't always get what I expect, but I don't never go into nothing expecting to lose.
You know, we started doing this as a way for folks to kind of escape the normal goings on. Folks have grown to pretty well enjoy it. Now, there might be a lot of them that watch it later after it's over tonight, because of you got rivals state by state. Auburn playing Georgia tonight. But we started this to get away from the COVID thing going on and kind of get our minds on other things. And who would have bet that $100 $10, Floyd, that the President of the United States and his wife would be in a hospital tonight because of the virus.
Amen, brother.
You think about that. So for those that don't believe, I respect your opinion, but I also understand that with all I've seen, and I talked to a man today that I did not know that his wife had passed away because of COVID back the end of July. So for those who do not believe, I'll say what I said about wrestling one time when I was quoting Luthez. People calling it fake. And they said, what do you say? I said, for those who believe, no explanation is needed. For those who don't believe, no explanation will do.
That's right.
Is that fair?
That's it.
Yeah.
You got it covered.
Well.
You know what? Every now and then you had to give the enemy their due. And I'll have to say that some of these, some of the anti-Trumpers, some of the ones that's in the spotlight has actually, said some nice things, being that our president is in the hospital. And I was glad to hear one of them say, he used that word. I don't know where he meant it or not. He said, our president is in the hospital. Where you voted for him and you didn't vote for him. He's still our president.
That's right.
We've had presidents before I didn't like, but he was still my president. And if you live in the United States, that's what it is. But I kind of felt like a little better that they did what you were talking about. They realized the seriousness of this stuff and kind of called off the attack for a little while. Who knows? They might be hope for the United States yet. I don't know.
They could be. They really could be.
As long as we still believe in the one up above, and he knows it, they still hope for us.
That's what I was going to say. As long as he's sitting on the throne, I ain't giving up.
No.
I ain't giving up.
The Ann and Mike Boyd said, we are happy to welcome y'all into our home tonight. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody watching. Now, what we want you to do, if you're on I'm going to speak for the Facebook side and let Marvin speak for the other. Hit like, if you will, and also hit share. And we'd appreciate it. And now, what do you do over there on YouTube, Marvin?
You just have to pull up the Dirt Road Sports YouTube channel, and you can pull it up there. And if you got a smart TV, you can either download Facebook Watch. Yeah. Okay, I was speaking to the producer there. Anyway, you can watch it from a smart TV on Facebook and or YouTube. Also, he said make sure when you go to Facebook you like it and share it. You need to like it and share it, and then that way it gets the message out. Hey, while we were talking about the Bulldogs, Lothario, if you will, put up that picture of the guy, the coach with the red shirt on there that you have. Nick Snellgrove, Nick, Charlie.
Yeah.
Nick sent me a couple of pictures this week. This is Queasel. This is the police chief in. No, back it up. No, not that one. This is the police chief in Ashford, Alabama. And I don't know if he was doing something. I think he was actually trying out to be Nick's. I mean, not Nick, but Kirby Smart's assistant coach. But I like it. The chief of police of Ashford, Alabama is a big Georgia Bulldog fan. So I wanted to send out a great big one. See, even the Lord's got his initial on the man's shirt. That's right. I'm just glad to know that there's a nice, good Christian man like that got, out there doing that kind of stuff. That makes me feel good. I feel safer every time I go through Ashford now. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, why are we talking about Nick? Put this back. Put that other one back up there. I want to say a few words about that, and then I'll shut up for at least 2 minutes. The picture of those football players, Lothario. This was in the Cottonwood paper or the Dothan Eagle paper, not that one. That is the entire Cottonwood football team standing, touching one another in respect for the national anthem, and it made the Dothan Eagle, and it's It says members of the Cottonwood High pay their respects to the nation as the national anthem plays before the Northside Methodist Academy in Cottonwood. And I want to give a big shout out to all those ball players in Cottonwood for their patriotism and for their respect of the American flag and the national anthem. And thank you, Nick Snellgrove, for sharing that with us, brother.
You're right. Appreciate it. And we go ahead.
I was just saying, while we're giving shout outs, I want to give one. I think I'm right. I think I got the date right. I think tonight they're having a big retirement party for a very good friend of mine. That the Georgia State Patrol is minus one of the best troopers I think they ever had. On September I think it was the 30th, Captain Mark Godby retired from the Georgia State Patrol. He was a second generation trooper, and he worked his way from radio operator all the way to captain to the who was over the Troop G, which is Southwest Georgia. It borders the Southeast Alabama line and the Florida line. He got everything over this way. He's just a flat out good man. And let me tell you something, we're going to miss him. So, Mark, I don't know where you're watching or not. I don't know if anybody is watching, but maybe somebody tell you. We just want to give you a little bit of credit. Tell you, we appreciate all the years of service that you did. You've been a good friend, and we're going to miss you. And I hope you enjoy retirement, old buddy. You flat out earned it. Mark Godby.
Yes, good deal.
Thank you for
those other pictures that you had. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to just start rolling through those. If we could, our director and producer, and I guess Floyd could make more comments on this than any of us, but want to shout out to Troy Howard, one of our viewers who is a truck driver and took some pictures and sharing them with us tonight. The audience, these are from Shoemaker's Truck Stop in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's just around the corner, ain't it, Floyd?
That ain't far from here if you get on an airplane.
Fast airplane.
Yeah, I see you tank your oil in you. He's an expert in this and stuff too, and his oil. He was a petrol and rubber man, is what he was. Executive. He was
magnate.
Magnate.
I got out there in my toolbox. I got one of them things, you used to, the oil spouts you used to punch down into a quart can of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had a kid out there one day, looked at it, didn't know what it was. I had this flame to it.
Didn't know what oil was either, probably didn't.
Yeah, he knew about oil, but
he knew
about was screwing the top off of it.
Oh,
I had to tell him what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you had to do antifreeze that way. Antifreeze used to come in a metal square jug, and you had to use that same oil spout to get antifreeze. You'd have to or get you a church key and cut you a corner, a notch in the corner of your antifreeze can there. Put your antifreeze in there. But you'd always wait. I'd always wait until it was about 18 degrees before I went out there going to put my antifreeze in. Then I couldn't get my old tractors and trucks and all to crank up. Had to jump them off. But I never would do it timely. And that was a mistake. Floyd, you remember back in them days, you couldn't use antifreeze year round. You had to put it in for the winter. Then when it's summer, you had to let it back out and just put regular water in there. That antifreeze was too strong. It would eat up your
corrosive
radiator. Yeah.
Radiator and your water pump on. And I'll get all in your cylinder heads and all in that clogged up.
Man, when they put in year-round antifreeze, we thought we was in, done hit the big time. And
you ever seen Queen? You ever see anybody with a busted block in a car motor?
Oh yeah.
And they pour that stuff in there. You had some stuff you could pour in your radiator if the crack wasn't too big, and it'd seal it up. You could go trade your car in there.
Yeah.
What
was it? I'm trying to think of the name of it. What was the name of it? You remember?
Something seal. It was some kind of something seal.
I can't
remember.
Stop leak. That was it. Stop leak. Yeah.
No, stop leak was for the radiator. This here was block seal.
Yeah, it would seal your block. And then cylinder blocks had them plugs in them that would
freeze
blow out.
Plugs.
Yeah, freeze
plugs. Can't you seal a radiator with black pepper?
Yeah, you can see it with black pepper.
Yep.
What?
Black pepper is good for all kind of stuff.
Black pepper.
Yeah, black pepper.
Okay.
All right, boys, we got Rojo and Julio from Albany watching. My cousins, the Rolands in Colquitt watching. The Oggs over on Smiley Street watching. The Pickles are watching, but they got one eye on the sports and one eye on the dogs. We got Michael Eford watching from the big city of Webb, Alabama. Johnny Green Miller said, "All y'all are some good guys. Charlie Platt, I've been watching you a long time. My grandpa Lou Edward Miller used to watch you every day. Love y'all." Karen's cousin, Linda Kessler Palmer from Tennessee watching. Cindy Moore Yates watching. Michael Middleton, Bert Thomas watching. And Deborah Kessler Mosley said, between y'all and the dogs, they may not win out. Oh, okay. I got that.
What that means? Oh, no, we're going to beat the dogs out. Yeah, for entertainment value. Well, that's pretty strong now. When you can beat the Dr. Pepper coach out there for the dogs. He's the Dr. Pepper man. You know, he used to do the commercials for Dr. Pepper, the Georgia Bulldog coach. What's his name, Queezer?
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. Yeah, he was a Dr. Pepper guy. Y'all remember him on TV? He had his visor on, you know, and all the time he had his crate of Dr. Peppers around his neck. Yeah, Kirby was started out being a Dr. Pepper man.
Dakota Coffee said, "Glad to be here watching you, intelligent gentlemen."
That's right.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
Got an update. 10-0 Georgia. 10-0 Georgia.
There
4
we
minutes
go.
left in the first quarter.
This thing gonna get boring. That's gonna get boring here in a minute.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't want Bernie to scold me no more, so I didn't say nothing.
Y'all don't talk about Auburn. Y'all know I told this one time this history deal about Auburn, about the University of Auburn up there about Auburn. They found a skeleton under one of them dormitories over there. Some of the new viewers might not have heard this. Some of you old ones have heard it, but it's funny. I don't care when you say it. They found a skeleton under one of them dormitories over at Auburn the other day. You knew what it was? They identified it. He was a 1954 hide and seek champion. That's funny.
It is. You know, people won't know why come I don't like Auburn. You know, I've been warring with Auburn for many years. I remember back when we was in high school, we had a dynamite fight one time with a bunch of Auburn folks. We had a dynamite fight. Them Auburn folks were throwing dynamite at us.
That's right.
So what we did is we bent down, picked it up, and lit it, and throw it back at them.
Oh my God!
Oh man! Oh, so now hurt you down.
Oh,
hurt you right there.
Let me say this. Emmett and Dale watching. Mox are watching. Chris Moore, Cheevertown is watching. Michael Middleton. Dale Mox says, "Go Dogs." Peggy Sheffield Chambers and Buddy are watching. Ruby Jones Holt, Go Dogs. Then we've got Peggy Sheffield Chambers. Take it from the two of us. COVID-19 very real. We wouldn't wish it on anyone. Carlton Thomas, think Harbor Wells plays at Cottonwood.
He does.
Nadine is watching. And let's see. Others that Christy Alston watching. And let's see. Go Dogs. So
hey, let's give a big shout out to Buddy Chambers. I know he's watching live. Buddy was in intensive care for a good while, had rehab. He's doing good walking. But we want to give a big shout out to Buddy Chambers. And our girl, I didn't know this till after the show last week. Our girl, Glenda Bailey, who is still in rehab, she tried to call live in on the show last week. We had some technical difficulties, but she's doing good. And but she watches us every week. And Glenda, if you're watching, we love you, and a big shout out to you.
And
Buddy Chambers, that's Dick Johnson, ain't it, Floyd? That's the world greatest car salesman.
That's him. That's Dick Johnson Jr. Then they got Dick Johnson III still working. He's working there at the Franklin Spring Creek Ford. Yeah, but he got a lot to learn from Dick Johnson Sr. and Dick Johnson Jr.
That's right.
He put Go ahead, Mark.
I seen Dick Johnson one time. I never thought he'd give away something, but he give away a bumper and a jack on a pickup truck.
You out traded him? Was you trading with him on that?
No, it wasn't me. I was watching the trade go on, and I knew how tight it was. He had done put in an ashtray, and then he'd give away a bumper and a jack on the truck.
Was it an extra large ashtray or just a large ashtray?
It was extra large.
Extra large. That's what he. That was one of his. That was one of his deals right there. And this one here has the extra large ashtray and the high speed radio antenna.
What about a full size spare tire? No charge for the filled up with air.
Filled up, free air.
That's right.
Air, water's always free.
That was it. He was an interesting fella.
You know. Hey, fellas, I just this past week, I got asked a question, and it reminded me of a story. I got asked of a question of what was the most interesting fire call that I had ever went on. And so I had to think back for a while, and I've been on some doozies now. I remember one in particular. This really was back before we ever even really had a fire department. We had the police, and that's when the police booth was up on the square, and didn't have no fire department, didn't have nowhere to get nobody. If it was in the city limits, they would blow the siren that was on top of the water tank. They blow it. If it was in the county, it just whoever seen the fire truck, and you would tear out. So I remember one Friday night we were sitting up on the square. I can't remember if I was 16 or 17, but it was somewhere along in that time. We were sitting up on the square talking, not doing nothing wrong, just sitting there talking. And by that time, the police car come around the square backwards. Well, anytime the police car come around the square backwards, something was on fire. So it was Mr. Leroy Glass and Lemuel Henry. And I was sitting in the back of Al Davis's Ranchero. You remember the old Ford Ranchero?
Yeah,
Al Davis. He had a white Ford Ranchero. We were sitting on the tailgate talking, and Leroy stuck his head out the window and said, "Boy, we got a house on fire. Y'all come help us." So me and Al took out with them around there to the. They kept the fire truck locked up at the old city hall, and so we went around there, and we just decided rather than ride between him and Lemuel, we just decided we'd follow in Al Ranchero. So we went tearing out there. We went on there about 10 or 12 miles out in the county. And we got out there. We had to turn down a dirt road. Then when we got down that dirt road, we had to turn down a lane. And down that lane, as we was turning down that lane, there was cornfield on each side of the lane. And as we was going down that lane, we kept looking out there. And I kept seeing these flashes out there in the cornfield. And I'm thinking, well, that looks pretty big for lightning bugs, but that's all we could tell it. Well, we just see flashes. So we go on down this lane, and the further we go, the tighter that lane gets. And you get on there, then it comes between two fences. So there ain't no way to turn around. You herding a bull through a chute. You just go down there. Eventually we get down there, going through all that, see all them flashing. Eventually we got down there to the house where it said at the dead end. The house out there, and a great big old oak tree out there in the front yard. So we pull up, we go to looking, and there ain't no smoke, there ain't no fire nowhere. We ain't seen nothing, just sitting there. Well, see, you got to remember, we didn't have no radio, didn't know what a radio was. Way back then, didn't have no firefighting suits, didn't have but one hose, and had a little bit of water. That's all we had. So we were looking to get ready to commence the fight. The fire, there wasn't one out there to fight. So all of a sudden, this girl comes running up, and she jumps up on the side of the fire truck. So when she done that, I done eased out of Davis's Ranchero and eased up there to the fire truck. And she said, "What in the world are y'all doing on the fire truck?" And Mr. Leroy looked at it. He said, "Well," he said, "y'all called and said the house was on fire." She said, "No, sir, that ain't what I said." She said, I called and said they firing at us. I didn't say nothing about no house being on fire. They was having a feud. They was two sides of the family having a feud, and we was out there. I mean, we was hemmed up. We couldn't go nowhere. Hemmed up in there, couldn't turn around right there. So Mr. Leroy, he said, you got a telephone. We ain't nobody ever even heard of a cell phone. She said, yes, sir. He said, I need to use your telephone. And he looked around at her. He said, I'm going to call the sheriff. He said, y'all just hang on. So he didn't have to tell us to hang on. I done crawled under the fire truck. Al got up in the hose bed and got up under the hose. I mean, you could hear them now. They was shooting. You could hear them shooting, hollering, cussing. They was calling each other everything but a saint. So Mr. Leroy took out and he runs around, and about the time he runs by the oak tree, there's a water oak tree bark flew off. It ain't missed him. I promise you, it ain't missed him 2 foot. He run up in the house. Then they pinned him down in the house. They was shooting at the house, busting out windows. So he was pinned up in the house. We were pinned up under the fire truck. Had to wait till the sheriff to get out there and calm the feud down. And I do believe that is the strangest fire call I have ever been on.
I guarantee you.
Who was
the sheriff, Queasy? Who was the sheriff?
Levon Cook.
Yeah, he could talk him out of it. He was like Andy Griffith. He talk him down. He talk him out of it. Sure
he got him out of there. And when he brought him, what's that movie? You know, they made a movie about that you seen. I can't remember whether the people walking out of the cornfield. That's what it looked like. He had them walking out of the corn. He had them walking out of the cornfield, and they had guns and they had everything. He had he had a gun, but he didn't have it in his hand. And he was telling them in uncertain terms what he was fixing to do to them if they didn't get out of there. He had one side of the bunch lined up on one side of the road, the other side of the bunch lined up on the other side of the road. It took us about 30 minutes, but we eventually got that old fire truck cranked back up and turned around and started heading back to town. But that's a true story. If I ever told one, that's a true one. Sure done that.
I believe it.
Been a long time ago.
But yeah, I remember that old police booth on the square up there. That's where they hold court up there. They hold court in there now, buddy. Sometimes the sheriff, Mr. Felix, he'd come by there. He'd sit in there with them, rolling his fingers around. And Mr. Buck.
Make no difference. It was speeding or murder. The fine was 1875.
1875.
And
they would have had cash.
Well, since they had the court in the little thing on the square and didn't go to the courtroom, just charged $875. 1875. I'm assuming there wasn't any court costs tacked onto that.
No, that was a cash transaction.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Cash transaction.
And
I'm one of the reasons Mr. Leroy Glass got to be on the police force.
Really?
Sure.
What'd you do?
We had a good friend. Mr. Leroy worked on the trash truck. Great guy, wonderful guy. He worked on the trash truck. And he lived down there He lived right as you're going out toward Damascus, right there past where Man Henry used to live right there. He lived, I don't know, if 1 block off the square, he lived down there in a house, and there was a red light right there. There was a red light right there. Merritt Clinic used to be right across the road there. Dr. James, Dr. Hennon had a hospital there, but they had done closed the hospital down, but they had a red light there for some reason or other. That was, I never could understand, but that was the only red light in Cockwood. Anyway, we had this friend. His name was Billy Shepard, and he had gone off to Vietnam, and Billy had come home. He was just on like a furlough. Billy was on a furlough. He had come home from Vietnam, and he had bought him a brand new, like one of them Boss Mustangs. This would have been about 66 or 67 long in there somewhere. Bought him one of them show enough high priced Mustang, probably costing about $3,300. But Billy had been celebrating. He had been celebrating being home on furlough from Vietnam, and with his Mustang, and we had all got together. And I'm the only person. No, me and Pearlie Franklin are the only 2 people alive that participated in this endeavor. So anyway, Billy's ready to go home. It's done got late. It's done got midnight. Billy's ready to go home. He's done happied out, and he's about ready to go home. So his car was parked up. He parked his car up there right at the police booth up there on the square part. That's so nobody wouldn't mess with it. And we were riding around, you know, talking to one another, studying our Sunday school lesson and things like that. So we brought him up there to drop him off at his car for him to go home. And Billy was so happy. He was happy. So he decided he gonna cut a donut out there in the middle of the street out there in front. The police wasn't there. They was off somewhere else. They was gone somewhere else solving crime. So Billy's gonna cut him a donut right around the police man. He on that Mustang. That thing, it run, man. It outrun a telephone call. Son, he was spinning them wheels around, had the smoke fly. So he lived up there. Like going towards Damascus, off Harmony Church Roads, where he lived. He lived up there. Well, he didn't live there. His mom and daddy lived there. He was staying with them while he was home from the army. But man, he cut them donuts, cut it loop-de-loop, man, and he tore out them, and he lost control of his Mustang right off the square. Y'all know where the automat printer used to be, right? It was one building right off the square going north. It was automat. It was a print shop. Billy got it spinning around. He lost control of his Mustang, ran it into the print shop, knocked the wall down, the window down. So we retrieved Billy. And so we gonna get on out of town. See, we got to think up some kind of excuse for all this happening for Billy. So we turn out of town. We're going up north toward Damascus, where the red light is, where Leroy Glass lives. Well, Leroy had heard the commotion with all the tires spinning and all the car running through the automat, the print shop. He had heard the commotion. So he come out of his house and was standing out there in the yard out there, and he seen me. It was me and Don Merritt and Pearlie Franklin and Billy Shepherd. And like I say, everybody in this whole story is dead except me and Pearlie. And Pearlie probably, I don't know if he remembers or not, but he probably does. But the statute of limitations is done run out on this, so I'll go ahead with the story. So we run through the daggone red light. Leroy seen us. We run through the red light, taking Billy away from the scene of the accident. Wasn't a crime, it was an accident. So we cruising around, well, what we gonna do? And so one of us come up with the bright idea to go over there to the phone booth and call the police. Let Billy call the police and report his car stolen. I understand that we done passed Leroy. Seen Leroy standing in the yard, run the red light. So we're gonna go over there and call the police. So Billy calls the police, tell them his car is stolen. They said, yeah, I said, we found it. Said it's over here in the print shop. What? In the print shop? Yeah, it's in the print shop. The print shop's tore down and your car's tore all to pieces. So anyway, the four of us, we cruised back around over there. And Leroy had done come down there where the scene of the accident was. Mr. Leroy Glass had done come down there where the scene of the accident was. He was standing there, and he had done told Mr. Jerry Collins, who was the policeman at that time, he had done told Mr. Jerry Collins what had transpired. So anyway, Mr. Jerry, he's waiting on us when we get there, you know. So Mr. Jerry, he was a very calm, easy kind of guy. He said, well, what happened, Billy? He said, yeah, somebody stole my car and run it through the print shop. Mr. Jerry said, no, I don't think that's what happened. He said, we got an eyewitness, and it was Leroy. And Leroy was eyewitness, and Leroy said, yeah, and Billy Kimball run the red light. Anyway, I'm implicated in all of this. So anyway, so they grabbed Billy, collared him, took him down there to the old jailhouse, which is behind y'all's old service station there, Queez, you know, to the old city hall. That's where they took him, the city hall, and locked Billy up in jail with about 5 or 6 other convicts who had been temporarily put in there because of different things of them not obeying the law, mostly drinking, and the folks had to call the law on them to come get them to set the house on fire. So anyway, there was a crew of them in there. All of them had a knowledge of alcohol, if you will. They was all locked up in City Hall in one cell. So me and Don and Pearlie got there riding around thinking about this thing, about how it wasn't fair. They had locked Billy up for his car having an accident. So anyway, we got to ride. So we devised a scheme. You remember them old lug wrenches they used to have, where you had the lug wrench and it had a crooked end on one end of it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
had and that thing was like cast iron. I mean, it was solid. So we devised a plan. So we pull up in front of the city hall there, get that tire tube out of the trunk of the car, and go in that city hall and pop the lock on the jailhouse door.
Oh no!
We popped the lock on the jailhouse door. Son, they come running out of there like rats with the house on fire. They come running out there. Billy, one of them. Billy run out there. We got him to get in the car. So we got him in the car, and all the rest of the jail cleaned out except one. One fella stayed in there, and he said, "No," I said, "I ain't going nowhere." He said, "They supposed to bring some breakfast in here in the morning, and I'm gonna stay here right on." So we take Billy to the house, to his mom and daddy's house out there on Harmony Church Road, and he cruised on around, going to the house because we know the law fit to be looking for somebody, but they hadn't discovered yet that the jail had been broke into. So the only way they knowed anything had happened was Mr. Buck Tab, Chief Buck Tab. He picked up the phone and called Billy Shepard's daddy, Mr. Clark Shepard, out there off of Harmony Church Road. Called him and said, "Well, Clark," says, "we got Billy locked up." Billy Shepard said, "We got him locked up in jail up here." They hadn't even gone to the jail yet to check on the folks. They hadn't delivered breakfast yet. Mr. Buck called him from the police station. And we got Billy locked up around at the jailhouse over there. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You got Billy locked up over there at the jailhouse?" He said, "Yeah, we got him locked up over there." He said he run through the print shop last night and tore his car up. Said, "We got him locked up over there." I said, I'm gonna see about him in a little bit. And Mr. Clark said, "You got Billy locked up in jail?" Mr. Clark said, "Yeah." Mr. Buck said, "Yeah." Mr. Clark said, "Well, I wonder who in the poop that is laying in Billy's bed in there." So anyway, they called me. I got a phone call next Monday morning, because this was on a Saturday night. Yeah, it was Monday morning for me to appear in mayor's court. There was again old Judge Drake in there. No, it was W.B. Rentz. W.B. Rentz was the mayor then, and he recused himself because me and him was kin. So anyway, Leroy had Leroy in there testifying. Billy he had shipped out. He had to go back to the army like that morning. He had to go back. He was gone, and Billy's daddy was in there as his proxy in there testifying. So anyway, they couldn't. It's the only person that lost anything out of this deal is me. Leroy Glass testified against me. He said, "Yeah, I see Billy Kimball pick up Billy Shepard, and Billy Kimball run the red light." Okay, so that's automatic $18.75 on me. Like I'm the only man out of the whole deal that it cost anything. They took pity on Billy Shepard and his daddy because Billy was going back to Vietnam. So they took pity on him, but I'm the only man. And Leroy, the police hired Mr. Leroy Glass. After that incident, they said, "You'll make a good policeman." So that's how he got on the police force right there. That's the only jailbreak I reckon we ever had it. But nobody, they couldn't get nobody to testify. That other crew that had run out, they couldn't get it. They didn't see nothing. They didn't know nothing. They didn't hear nothing. They just know the door was open. They left. That was all they know. They didn't testify. None of them. They didn't turn state's evidence against us. So we got off. But anyway, I just happened to think about that when you talking about Mr. Leroy being the police out there. Yeah, have me to thank for that.
That's right. All right,
hey,
boys,
he was good.
It's 16-0, Georgia.
6-0.
16-0.
Oh, I was saying 10-0 a while ago. That's good. Go get them, dog. Go, dog.
You got $100.
I ain't got nothing to bet on them. I don't care if they win or lose. I put it for them on kind of queasel like some.
Dynamite BB King has posted on here and wants you to do your impression of Ernest T. Bass.
I can't do Ernest T. Bass, man.
Yeah.
that ain't my forte, Ernest T. Bass.
Right. It's either do Ernest T. Bass or tell the story of Floyd Town.
No, we're gonna pass on. We move on, move forward.
What you say, Floyd? How do you do, Mrs.
Wiley?
How do you do, Mrs. Wiley? No coffee, tea, or milk, thank you.
Oh,
Dynamite King. Me and Dynamite's got some stories to tell too. I'm gonna get him one night to call in here because we'll be there all night. Dynamite call.
Marvin, Marvin Floyd cousin from up there in the mountains said you can't count. It's 17 to nothing.
Oh, well, I didn't see that. Okay, good deal.
He's up there in the hills up there in Hall County.
17 to nothing. All right, we got Edward Moore from Ohio watching. Trey and Mandy Long from Colquitt watching. Joe Watson. Y'all got the greatest show available in this day and in this time.
Thank you, brother Joe, Colonel Joe.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. We love you too, Joe. No, we're just having a conversation. That's all we do. We're just in here talking. And we appreciate y'all inviting us into y'all's home because that's what you're doing. We feel like we're in y'all's home and we want to act accordingly. So we just having a conversation and having a good time. Thank the good Lord we can still do that in this day and time.
And if you got any questions or comments, you can either put them on Facebook or you can feel free to call or text that number. We'll put you live on our show on the air. That number scrolling across your screen. You can either call or text or put it on the Facebook comment and we will respond to you. We do appreciate you watching though very much. We do. Charlie, I was over in Dothan today and I want you to know this. There is no lack of economics going on in Houston County.
No.
231 South going toward the Florida line.
Uh-huh.
It was like it looked like the Las Vegas Strip, and that was at lunchtime today.
Well, I guess there's still a lot of folks going down there to Panama City. It looked like out-of-state tags that were heading that way.
Most of these were coming from south, coming north.
Okay.
It was backed up from the Circle all the way almost to Walmart. I mean, solid traffic.
Oh, that's the light Saturday. Sometimes it backed up all the way down to near the Peanut Festival Fairgrounds. Like on a holiday weekend or in good weekends during the summer, folks are going in and out of Panama City. It'll back up halfway around the Circle.
Charlie, your folks from Nebraska, Troy Howard's watching.
Good deal, Troy. We appreciate those pictures. We really do. And
Melissa Tillery said y'all getting so popular, y'all soon going to have to ask for a subscription service to watch. Well, Melissa, we're not going to ask for a subscription, but we do, and he'll put it up there. We do have an advertising plan that if you would like to get your business, we're going to try to get this going in the next few weeks. I had 2 calls this week from last week. We will do a 30-second professional video commercial for you. Your logo at the beginning and the end of the show and mentions throughout the entire show, and your logo on the background of one of the show hosts, and placed also on our Facebook pages. And we would love to have you to be a part of that. We want to promote our businesses and the people that support us. And if you got a business that you'd like to for us to promote for you, we will be more than glad to be your promoters. And that information is on the screen. It's also on our Facebook page as well.
Got a new sponsor there, Marvin. Got one want to be a sponsor. I think I mentioned it before. South Georgia Solutions. Michael and Terry Cunningham.
That's him. Yep.
They in the alarm business and the camera business, and they got fire alarms. They got burglar alarms. They got all, and they got some cameras. I got him to put me some cameras in. Man, them cameras is so good. You can turn the lights off at night and it lights up like daytime. You can see the bugs flying around out there. Be all away from the house. Look at your cameras on your telephone. See if anybody out there messing around your stuff. Ain't got no business out there around you. Good folks, good products, good prices.
And he done signed the contract.
Just thought we'd throw that in. We appreciate people like him. It's folks like him that makes it possible that we can do what we do.
There you go. And we do want folks to support all local businesses because
absolutely,
this COVID thing. Truth of the matter is, when you're only limited in some restaurants to 50% of capacity, it's hard to make, just about impossible to make it come out and come up with a profit. You going with a loss for a lot of these folks. So support, whether it's a grocery store, restaurant, whatever, as many local folks as you can, because
that's it.
They need it. They need it.
Y'all just got it put on here. This is a Charlie Platt Dirt Road Sports special that our local tooth dentist is offering, Robert Lane. If you buy 10 crowns, you get 15% off the 11th one.
Good.
That's a pretty good deal for him.
That'd make you want to go home, pull all your teeth out, and come back and see him, won't it?
Buy 10 crowns at regular price. I don't know what a crown is now, probably $1,000 or $1,500. And on the 11th one, he's gonna give you 15% off of it cash.
I tell you what, he know he's a good tooth dentist though now, buddy.
Yeah.
He can fix your teeth. If you need them fixed, he can fix them. You'll be proud of him.
Marvin,
did
that include that numbing shot that he shoots in there, or is that extra now?
No, that's extra. Numbing's extra. Novocaine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the gas?
He ain't got no gas.
Ain't got no gas, man. He ain't got no gas unless Marvin just left out there.
There ain't but two kinds of gas: the kind you put in your vehicle and the kind you put out. That's the only kind of gas we got over here. Now, if you want to go and get gas, we'll feed Marvin up some beans, let him back up around there in the door, around there in the dentist's office. We'll gas you out there if you want to now.
You won't give
what you charge for that?
All right. Two things going on. Nadine put on here, Charlie, she wanted you to know Moby Dick is back open. Moby Dick is open and for business. They've remodeled the inside of it. It looks good. They are reopened for business. And Troy Howard wants to know if me and Queasel and Floyd wrestled, what our wrestling names would be.
Whoa!
I tell you what my name would be. My name would be Floyd No Show.
Well, Marvin's got experience, so Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin got experience in the ring.
Yeah. What did they call you?
They didn't ever call me nothing. I know one thing. That man, he attempted to pick this 200 and whatever pound man up and body slamming, and I had to do some springboarding, but my cowboy hat never fell off.
He body slammed him. He didn't body slam him. He waist dropped him, and his hat never fell off. He got him up high as his waist, and he just kind of rolled him out on the mat.
Charlie, I got some wrestling experience too, and I tell you what they call me. I mud wrestled against two women in a bikini one time.
Where was that?
That was in the Cow Palace over here at a fundraiser for the fire department over here one time. Some big mouth up there in the crowd offered $100 if I'd get in the ring, and somebody said, well, if he'll get in there and y'all will put another gal in there and get him, I'll double it. So they was $200 in the pot. I crawled in the ring before I got both feet in. They done picked me up, body slammed me, and they called me out from that. That was it. I was done. My name was Whooped because I didn't.
Good gracious.
It was all over before I ever knowed it.
Good gracious. A lot of folks checking in. Ronald Fuller checking in. Good to hear from Mr. Ronald. Jeff Childress, Dawn Gardner down in Panama City, Florida. Ruby Jones Holt, Johnny Snodgrass, Jarrett Miles. Good gracious. Deborah C. Lewis, Kevin Branton, Myron Whitman, and former Dothan City Commissioner and race car driver at the best in his day, Don Clements, checking in with us tonight. Did you know
talking about the NASCAR? I was reading something a while ago. You know, next year they're going to have a dirt race at where Bristol at. They're going to cover the track. Y'all hear what they talked to King Richard. King Richard's done about lost his mind. Y'all know that, don't you? He done wrecked about 4 times too many. He done about lost his mind. King Richard is quoted in there, and I saw King Richard race in Byron, Georgia up there. It was a NASCAR sanctioned race. Me and Frogwell and Pearlie and Don Calhoun rode up there to watch the race. And Kyle Petty had a football out there. They were playing around out there. We was out there in the infield, and we playing football back and forth with Kyle Petty. So that's how long ago that was. But it was a dirt track in Byron, Georgia, and Petty was up there running. Well, Petty's done lost his mind, and he said this. He said he didn't think he wanted to get involved in any dirt track racing. He said because it's non-professional. That's what Petty said. Mm-hmm. So
that's what
y'all pray for Richard Petty because he's in the early stages of dementia or whatever.
No,
pray for him because he's losing his mind.
He's further along in early stages. If he said he said what now?
He said it wasn't professional. Dirt track racing wasn't professional.
Well,
that's how it began.
Yeah, I know. But he done gone past that. So he's moving forward.
I saw an interview that was on YouTube or something last week. An interview with Red Farmer, one of the latest members. One of the latest members of the Hall of Fame. This past deal. Red is 89 years old. He had COVID. He's recovering and was hoping to be able to race in the next couple of weeks at the Talladega short track. Probably tonight. He's there racing tonight because NASCAR is in Talladega. And on Saturday nights of that race, before Sunday, they have a big dirt race at the Talladega short dirt track. They're on the same property next to it. 89 years old. He's racing on the dirt. I wish Richard Petty would go right up to Red at 89 and say, boy, old man, what you doing ain't a sport.
Yeah, it ain't a sport. It ain't professional.
It's not professional.
But I kind of got put out with old King Richard when he come up with that because that's the most fun racing is, man. It's dirt track racing. That is the absolute most entertaining race there is.
All right, boys.
Go ahead.
What you got, Mark? Go ahead.
23-0, Georgia. 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Now it's 24-0, Georgia. 6 minutes and 26 seconds left in the second quarter.
Wow, they be giving them a pretty good old whooping there. That's all. I said, open boys they whooping too, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Hey, Floyd, I heard you talking about you'd watch that on Facebook. What about your reading this week? Have you done any reading, any more than short books?
Yeah, I read 3 or 4 short books. It don't take long to read them short books. It's the ones that I check out and read. So I wrote down this the shortest list and shortest books in history. Here's one I picked up and didn't take long to read it at all. It was a short book. The 10 Easy Steps to Paying Your Back Taxes by Al Sharpton. And here's a pretty good one right here. Redneck Jeopardy Champions. That's a short book. And here's one right here that is Infidels That I Respect by Barack Hussein Obama. And here's one pretty short. So here says the list of favorite Amish nudist camps. Hey, I got a couple more, but I'll say I got a couple more I want to check out, but we'll talk about them next week.
Floyd, you talking about them nudist camp, your cousin up there in Hall County. They got a nudist camp over in the next county over from him. And he said his buddy over there with the fire chief, he said to go over there. He said, you go to the nudist camp, said you don't do CPR. Said you don't get down on your knees and do CPR because all them folks come up there standing around. He said, if you do, you better not look up. He said, you just keep looking down till they put him in the ambulance. He said he went in there one time. He went in there to a call one time, said the man up there around the gate at the nudie camp, and he was weed eating. Can you imagine that? Wasn't wearing nothing but a pair of tennis shoes and a smile, and he was weed eating.
Man, please. I know that was a sight.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, what if he just slung a rock?
Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
Have mercy. I know all them folks that I imagine they some hoods at the nudist camp. I just imagine. I don't imagine all of them. It looks like runway models.
Trump.
Well, no. I can tell you this. No, I ain't gonna tell you this. I'll hold up.
You gonna put a hold on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold up on that.
There's another Floyd Town story.
Yeah, there's one in Floyd Town. Yeah, hold it, man. Don't tell it all, man. Don't believe I told that.
hold up on that one.
A preacher, Marvin, brother Marvin, are we not supposed to confess our sins one to another?
That's what I preached on last
you
Sunday.
never-
Is about.
You don't have to confess them to man. You just confess.
Yeah,
them
we
to
ain't got to
the Lord.
confess them to you.
This ain't the confession booth at the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
He hit the brakes on that truck running downhill, didn't he?
Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna say
man.
this. I'm gonna tell this enough of this. You're talking about sinning, and you're talking about the nudity column. I'm gonna say this. I didn't lust the first time.
There wasn't nothing there to lust over, was it, Marvin?
How about that?
Well,
Did
let me
that
ask
make
this,
you feel
Frieza.
better?
Let me ask this one. Did you ever get sick on your stomach?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I know one thing. There wasn't nobody there man enough to throw me in that swimming pool. I can tell you that much. You count on that. That a long time ago, though. Long time ago.
Well, we can get off on some kind of topics on this show.
Well, we can talk about everything. That's how smart we are. We are super intelligent. We can talk about any subject you want to talk about. Anybody got anything out there they want to be, they want to know about? All they got to do is call us.
And Floyd, you know the thing
got an opinion on it.
But you know the thing that scares me. You know what scares me is we ain't making none of it up.
I know. We ain't making none of it up.
Happened way back
I got a bulletin.
What?
Be time for a new coach at Auburn soon.
He gonna have to be the Dr. Pepper man.
Oh, man.
So let me tell you something. I'm not gonna do any talking until there's 0 seconds on the clock. Then I'll talk.
Okay.
I'll be quiet right now. I done learned that lesson the hard way.
I don't know if y'all saw this, but last Saturday, Malzone did a tribute to Pat Dye, and he come out with a white short sleeve shirt and a tie on, and somebody put on Facebook that he looked like a cross between Pat Dye and a Mormon missionary.
Selling books. Look like an encyclopedia salesman.
God
have mercy.
You heard from Cousin Bookie.
I ain't heard from Bookie. I ain't got nothing to report on Bookie this week. Been too busy.
You need to check on him this week.
I've been too busy doing other things. Been too busy reading these books.
What about Reverend Johnson?
I ain't heard from Reverend Johnson either. I don't know where he's at. Reverend Johnson called in that one time. He called in one time and he got kind of discombobulated. We ain't heard much out of Reverend Johnson lately. I know he's still around town.
I bet I know where Bookie is.
Where Bookie?
Cause I see it ain't scrapped last week. She wouldn't even speak.
He's just been paying her a visit then, ain't he?
Yep, he's over there with her.
There's one thing he loves. There's one thing Bookie loves more than snuff is alcohol. And they got it over there, buddy. All that confession wine and all. Man, you drink enough wine, you'll confess to anything. That's why they have it in them Catholic churches like that, have all that wine in there. They be drinking wine all the time.
Yeah.
That's why they got to have a confession booth.
And ain't they got it where if you don't tell it all the first time, they give you another round?
They give you another round, give you here, go drink some wine and come back and tell us some more and leave $5 in the box. Leave $5.
Marvin, you might ought to try that out there at the creek. You might get some more money in the offering plate.
Hey, I did read one more book. I forgot to tell y'all about it. I read one more short book. Snake handling techniques for Roman Catholics. What do you think, Marvin?
I don't think I've never met many snake handling Catholics.
Well, they got the techniques. Somebody wrote a book about it. Snake handling techniques.
Techniques for Roman Catholics.
That's pretty good right there, Floyd.
I don't care who you are.
I'd like to read that book. I got a feeling that's short enough I can finish it.
Yeah, you can read that. It won't take you long to read that one.
And hey, people don't understand. We love all denominations.
Yeah.
This is just us. Listen, if you get offended, if you stay on here long enough, you're gonna get offended. So best thing to do, just click the power button and move on.
You know one thing, Marvin, people are so sensitive these days. They are so sensitive to everything. They ought to be like us, man. They ought to be raised up like we were raised up, man. You can't be sensitive to everything. If you be
No.
sensitive and get your feelings hurt, you in for a world of shock out here in this world, folks. I'm gonna tell you now.
It'll eat you alive.
It'll eat you alive. You're gonna be a victim the rest of your life. You're gonna be a miserable human being if everything offends you.
That's right. All right, Charlie, it's time to take us home.
Already?
Yes, sir. We done burn it up, son.
No, man. What?
Yeah.
We didn't even show the footage of the peanut picking, did we?
Nope.
But we will.
We'll save it for next week.
Went out there and rode around with Chris Balcom this afternoon, got home and checked my blood pressure. It was 109/58, which is exactly where they probably want me to be. We have gotten so uptight, and as Floyd just said, get offended so easily these days that we have forgot how to live, folks. We have forgot the important things in life. And if you're watching somewhere way off and you're not down here in what we call the peanut capital of the world between Georgia, Florida, and Alabama, you can't understand that we have this thing every year called harvest, and it's a way of life. A lot of us took part in it, whether we were raised on a farm or not. I encourage everybody to look at the things that are important. Reminisce about old times. Somebody said the other day, said, you don't need to look back in the past. You need to look at the future. Well, you don't know where you're going until you look back and see where you've been. And there's a lot of tradition here in this area in the South that some of us ain't gonna never give up, no matter what or who it offends. Go back to what we started talking about tonight just for a minute. Nobody would ever believe that we'd be in the situation we're in this country right now. Do yourself some serious praying and looking at things. We've got an election coming up. We're at the crossroads in this country of just about whether we want to be a bunch of criminals when you start killing babies that we've been doing already, and all the other things that are on the agenda these days, and things we don't want to mention because we might offend somebody. But search not only your own heart, but search the words of the Word of God in the Holy Bible and see what it has to say about these things. We're in a serious situation. Sure, we like to have fun. We like to laugh. We're going to continue to do it as long as the good Lord allows us to do it. But let's all do some soul searching. We got an election coming up. We've got a president, whether you like him or not. Yeah, he's a little on the bullish side, but he stands up for a lot of the right reasons. He and his wife are sick, just like some other folks in this audience have been, just like the fella I'm looking at, our buddy Marvin and Holly and Judson, Cindy, all had the COVID. And a lot of folks that I know have passed away. So let's pray for our president. Let's pray for everybody affected by this thing. And then we'll do that through the week and come out here on Saturday night at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, depending on what time zone you're in, and have a good time. But let's pray for one another and pray for our country because we need it.
Charlie, I agree with you 100%. And just something I'd like for folks to kind of think about it. Just think about who you are, and don't take yourself too serious. Do not think you got it made. Don't take yourself too serious, because let me tell you, your world can turn on a dime. You one phone call away from your life changing forever. So don't take yourself too serious. Nobody else does. So why should you? So just sit back and respect people and enjoy life, and especially enjoy those people that you love, your children and your grandchildren. Enjoy them, embrace them, and try your best to instill in them the values that some of you older folks and some of us older folks were raised with. But we love y'all. We love y'all. Don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. We that's old Floyd B. Lord talking, but we don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. But we're just gonna keep telling the truth. That's what we're gonna keep doing. We're just gonna keep talking to y'all about how the way we feel, and we love all of y'all. We appreciate y'all inviting us into y'all's home. Please.
Well, I'm gonna be real quick because I want to let Marvin close us out real good. Just got a little something I want to leave you with, and I want you to think about this: the difference between being filthy rich and dead broke is a $1 bill and your attitude.
Good words of wisdom there, Queasel. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Hey, guys, we want to thank y'all again, man. It humbles us that y'all would even invite us into your homes on a Saturday night. We want to tell you, first of all, thank you. We appreciate you for that. Number two, if you saw that on there, if you got a business and you'd like to be a part of our sponsorship package that we're working on, trying to get rolled out in the next few weeks, shoot us a text. Let us know. We'd love to have you with that. Tomorrow's Sunday. I want to encourage you, either be in the house of the Lord somewhere or turn your internet on and watch a service somewhere live and be under the preaching and the teaching of the Word of God. Let's pray for each other, like Charlie said, and pray for our president. He is our president. And next week, I want to ask you to do something for us. Spread a little love and kindness next week. Just spread a little bit of love and kindness to somebody next week, and I promise you, it'll change you. Leave you with this scripture from Psalm 84:10. Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. A lot of truth applicable to that in today's world we live in. We love all of y'all. We've had a great time tonight. It's gone by quick. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great week. God bless all of you. And we'll see you next Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
See y'all.
See you.